Today is like 32 degrees outside, so it's quite hot in here. Probably you should not be wearing a shirt like this, but I thought it looked good, so we're just gonna go with the fashion for now. This bit of hair needs to go back where it belongs. Today I have another very casual, chatty book video for you all. Again, a mix of books that I really enjoyed and some I did not enjoy, some I only got a few pages in and just thought this is not for me. I will also be listing the books in the description as well, just so you don't have to rewatch the video, unless you want to, but you don't have to rewatch the video to find which books I mentioned. If you are new to my channel, while you're here, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up as well, because that tells me that you enjoy these sorts of chatty book videos too. I'm super matchy today with the nails, the shirt, the cup. I like the vibe. So the first one I have is a sequel to a book I really enjoyed. This is A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L Jenson. This is a sequel to A Fate Inked in Blood, which I really enjoyed. I think I mentioned that in my previous book video or the one before, can't remember now. I'm doing so many of these book videos, I'm losing track. Now, I really loved the first one and I was really excited to give this second one a go as well, but I honestly could not get through it. I feel like for this one I completely lost track of the storyline. Well, I don't think lost track is the right word, but more the fact that I couldn't really get engaged with it. As I mentioned last time with the first book, I did enjoy it, but it did kind of require me to really think about what was going on in the book, because with fantasy obviously it's a whole new world, right, that you're trying to kind of understand, and sometimes you really just have to really think about it. For the first one I was able to do that, but for this one I really kind of struggled to kind of get on board with what was going on. Honestly, that could just be a me problem, so this is not really about the book. I think this just could be me not being willing to fully grasp what was happening. It's based on the main character again, Freya, and she basically has been found out in terms of her divine heritage. She basically finds herself in a situation where loads of lives will be lost because of the magic that she has in her blood. And obviously she wants to avoid this kind of disastrous fate, so she pairs up with Scarland, the place where she's from, Scarland's greatest enemy, to seek answers from the seer who basically foretold her future. It's also basically about overcoming the betrayal of the man that also broke her heart as well. So there's just kind of a lot going on and I just could not engage with the story. Like on paper it sounds like interesting, which I do understand, but I just feel like, I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. This wasn't for me, but if you really enjoy finding out about a new sort of world and fantasy, you might like this. To say I really liked the first one, but the second one was just not for me. Okay, the second book I have to share is one that I really did love, and you really don't see the twists and turns coming in this. This is Anatomy of an Alibi by Elston. I loved this book so much. It took me a few pages to kind of get into it, which I guess is kind of typical with a book. I mean, it's very rare that you read the first page and you're like hooked instantly. If that is the case, then that author is like one of the best. But this took me a couple of pages, which I guess is still normal, right? But I loved this book so much. It's definitely worth a read. This is a thriller novel. I will read a thriller if it seems interesting, you know, like I don't just like random thrillers. I like ones that have a really strong storyline attached to it. It's basically based around someone called Camille, and she suspects her husband has got a really big secret. She just does not know what it is. But the thing is, he basically tracks her every move. She knows it, she just is not able to prove it. So it's a really tricky situation for her. And then we've got another character called Aubrey, and she believes Ben, Camille's husband, knows the truth about a night that wrecked her life a very long time ago. So Camille and Aubrey somehow meet and they basically hatch a plan together, and they basically try and confuse Ben. This book is just a whirlwind. I really loved it. If you want a book that's going to surprise you every single chapter, read this book. I've not read a book like it before. I really enjoyed it. At the end there was a really big twist as well, which you don't see coming, and it was also something that wasn't completely out there, you know. Like sometimes when I read a thriller and the ending is sometimes the ending just does not make sense, and it's just like, I read this book for the ending to be like that, then I'm disappointed. But with this book I was not disappointed at all. You just don't see it coming, and it was just a really great book. I'd really highly recommend it. The next book I have to share with you, but first of all, look at this book. It's just not one of the most beautiful books you have ever seen. It's something that you would display in a library. Anyway, so this is another fantasy novel. I really loved this. I feel like this month I wasn't really in a big fantasy kind of space, apart from this one book, because I think S.T Gibson can do no wrong with her writing. This is from, I think at the moment it's like a 3-book series. I'm hoping there's going to be another one. I think there is. I don't know what the series is actually called, but the other 2 books are called Evocation and Ascension, and this one is called Odd Spirits. The series itself focuses more on 3 people, Reese, Moira, and I cannot remember the other one's name. David, I think, is David. Now, Reese and Moira are married, and David is, I guess, their friend. But Reese and David used to be together, so it's a bit of it's like a love triangle, basically, kind of. This, I would say, is more of like a novella. I think that's what you would describe this as, because it's basically almost like not a side quest, but like a side kind of story, just focusing on Reese and Moira's life together. Evocation and Ascension, the other 2 books, focus more on their dynamic as like a 3 kind of group friendship in a way, but this one focuses more on Reese and Moira, so it's more of like a novella, and it's really, really short as well. I finished this in like less than 2 days. Basically, this particular novella is about Reese and Moira having spirit activity inside their home, and they're trying to figure out where it's coming from, but obviously they then need David's support to figure that out. So David still gets involved here, but it's mainly focusing on Reese and Moira's life together as a married couple. There's a lot of like supernatural references in this as well, which I find quite interesting, but I just love the characters so much. Like, S.T Gibson has done such an amazing job of just making them come to life. I do believe a 3rd book is coming out this year, I think, hopefully, like in the next one in the series. I'm so excited to read it. You just really love the characters so much. It just makes you so excited to read the book again, or even like the next one that's coming out. But I love S.T Gibson as an author, by the way. I would highly recommend her books if you like fantasy that's still got some kind of realistic aspect to it as well. When something is like too fantasy kind of based, I can find it hard to engage with it, as I've kind of mentioned. But this one I just love so much. I love the whole series, it's really good. Now, the next one I have to show you is also part of a series as well. I'm not going to focus just on this book, but I'm going to talk about the series as a whole because it is so good. So this is a book by S.T Cavanagh, and I just want to talk about him as an author because I love his books so much. I think I've only read maybe 2 of his books, but I love them so much that I am confident recommending everything that he writes. So this is the Eddie Flynn series, and Eddie Flynn is basically a lawyer who is given all these different types of cases basically, and each of the books is based on a case that he's working on. But again, all the characters in the books are so great. Like, he's got his own team that he works with basically, and you see them in pretty much all of the books. I think I've not read them all, but in the ones that I have read, it's kind of the same characters, which I really love as well, because then you have some kind of like familiarity with the characters as well. And yeah, it's just nice to kind of, yeah, it's almost like watching a TV show in a way. This one is called Two Kinds of Stranger. I've also read one called 50/50, which again was really good. I don't really have a preference as to which I prefer, but I just think all of S.T Cavanagh's books are just really great. And I think maybe he used to be a lawyer, or he is a lawyer. I'm actually not too sure, but like the books are very well researched. Like, you can just tell that he knows what he's talking about, and it's just really interesting. You cannot put the books down, twists and turns on every page. It just really is a fantastic series. It doesn't explicitly say it's called the Eddie Flynn series on the books, but that basically is what it is, because it's centered around the lawyer called Eddie Flynn. But yeah, I'm really excited to read more of his books because they really are just fantastic. So if you're looking for a new thriller author and you've not tried any of S.T Cavanagh's books, particularly this Eddie Flynn series, please check them out because you'll be hooked instantly. And then the final book I have to share with you is another fantasy one. Again, I didn't love it. So this is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This has really good reviews. I really just could not get into it at all. It's a beautiful book. I mean, look at these pages. Have you seen a more beautiful book? Probably not. It's kind of giving me like the Handmaid's Tale sort of vibe. I don't know what it was about it. I'm not sure, because I mean, I guess this is sort of dystopian in a way, but also not really. It's more fantasy than dystopian. The Handmaid's Tale isn't really my vibe, and I feel like maybe that's why I didn't really get on with this either. So it's basically about a character called Sybil, and she is what would be called a diviner. In her dreams, she always kind of receives visions from these figures that she's never really seen before. She tries to figure out their futures through her dreams, and she's basically in a group of other diviners as well, so I guess that's where the Handmaid's Tale element kind of comes into it, in my brain at least. Then one day a mysterious knight kind of arrives at the cathedral that they live in, and you can kind of see where this is going to go. There are definitely elements of romance to it. It's definitely a very gothic book, and I really quite like gothic books as well. I actually would say that Odd Spirits is also a gothic book as well, but for this particular one, I don't know what about it, I just couldn't get into it. I know there are so many people that love this book, and I think there's also a sequel to this as well. Maybe I'm making that up, I'm not sure, but I know so many people love it. It just wasn't for me, but I definitely wanted to give it a go anyway. But if you like fantasy and you like kind of dystopian sort of novels, I think you'd really enjoy this. But I'm just very particular about the fantasy kind of books that I read, and this just was not one of my favorites. I got about a quarter of the way through and I just couldn't finish it. I feel like I've been talking for quite a while. I need a sip of water now. Okay, we have now made it to the end of this book video. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have made it to the end in the comments as well, and which one of these books you would be more likely to give a go. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos, and I will see you again soon.